Hello, tubers, family and friends. Just out for a walk this morning with little Leonardo and John, and they both have flowers that we picked off the ground from our trees here. Just taking a little walk in the driveway today. Leonardo's picking up his sticks. He loves the sticks. It's like a normal little boy. You got a stick, a bigger, longer stick now, buddy. Good job. Yeah. So it's mostly cloudy and mostly raining. This morning you can see the driveway's all wet. So it's this time of year, it's on and off rain most of the day. Mostly cloudy and on and off rain most of the time. Come on, buddy. Come on. You okay? Huh? Okay. Okay. Huh? Yeah, we just got done with our carnivore breakfast, eggs and bacon and sausage. So, very delicious. And yeah, listening to Tucker Carlson again this morning on his blog, and you know, he's having another guest, kind of a rich guy that's speaking out, that's a billionaire in the know kind of a guy, saying that this country's already been taken over by, you know, speaking of the U.S., been already taken over by these entity powers of diabolical types, suicidal, diabolical in their actions of what they're trying to do in the earth and on this earth right now. And it's been, you know, it's sad because, you know, U.S. was a shining light to the world and helped defeat Nazis and Hitler in World War II, and became the leader of the world basically for everyone to admire and to emulate and to, you know, be an example of how you want to be in a society on this earth. And that lasted for about, 25 years, until Kennedy was assassinated in 1963. He's right here. And when he was assassinated, everyone was just like shocked and believed that it's just a rogue individual just wanted to kill him. You know, and they always say, oh, maybe the Cubans was behind it, maybe the Russians were behind it. They always say that, right? But the honest truth is, it's from within. The evil from within took power and killed our president of the United States. What, buddy? What? You're pointing to a truck? You know, Leo always wants to go riding either the four-wheeler or the truck. No, he really loves that. At his 3 years, 4 months age now. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty sad because, you know, the U.S. was great. It was awesome. And it's ever since the coup that took place in assassinating Kennedy by the deep state, the CIA and the FBI and other rogue entities within the government that aren't elected by the people, they've taken over the country, and they support and scratch each other's back and enrich each other through the military industrial complex. And it's just a tyrannical, traitorous, monster that has been created through the greed and evil of these, perma powers that are within the U.S. And even Dwight D. Eisenhower, you've probably heard it many times, his farewell address, he was the supreme commander of the military during World War II and went through 2 terms as president of the United States. In his farewell speech, he warned the people that the military industrial complex and the powers that be within the government, that J. Edgar Hoover, and the head of the FBI and some of these entities within the CIA, and they've all, basically took power. And Eisenhower warned that if we didn't stop it, that these powers would completely take over and destroy the country, of which they have done. And Wall Street, there's another, part of the tyrannical monster. All these stocks have been reapothecated, which means if you bought shares and you have shares in your portfolio, who knows how many times those shares have been copied. It's all a hoax and a scam on you. If you have these shares, they're basically worth nothing. And these programs, it's all automated programs, algorithms, black boxes that control all this forex trading, the bond market, the central banks, Federal Reserve. All this stuff is the monster and the arms, the tentacles of the monster that they've created to enrich themselves and rob the people of the country. And that's the way it always happens. The people always, if they look the other way, if they suspect something's going on, 99 times out of 100, they're going to turn their eyes away from it and let it happen, because they all think, oh, what can I do? I can't do anything against a powerful entity like these FBI and CIA and all these people. What can I do about it? And so they just give up right away. So, and the only way to end it is if all the people unite. But what has the state owned? There's another tentacle of the tyrannical monster. Yes, I know, they're wonderful. My boys walking with their daddy. Very fun. And that's all we do out here in the deep jungle, right? Waiting for the proverbial nuclear bomb to drop. And we're just here trying to survive out in the deep jungle because we know how bad it's going to get. Buddy, I can't carry you. You're big enough to walk yourself. Are you getting tired? Are you getting tired? Okay, I'll carry you for a little bit. You're too big, dear daddy, to carry. Oh, now you're so happy. So, the tyranny going on in the U.S. is going to affect the whole world when it collapses, because that's what is going to happen. And they know they can't let it go on forever, but they want to suck in as many people and destroy as many people as they possibly can in the entire world. And that's why these maniacs will, because they have bunkers, right? These super rich maniacs with they worship Satan. They do all that stuff. They eat children that they traffic. They suck their blood. They're like vampires. These people are the most top evil of all evil. And that's what goes on with these inner circles of these billionaires and these officials in these entities. And it's not just the United States, don't get me wrong. It's just that the United States was the ultra top good that had become the worst. So it changed 180 degrees from being the best in the world to being now the worst in the world. And when the whole thing ends, the people that have turned a blind eye to this happening in their own government are the ones that are going to suffer the most. That's why get out of the cities, get out of the U.S., because it's too late to change and to save the country. I wholeheartedly believe that with all my inner being and soul, that it's just way too late. I mean, you can see it, right? Everyone is a zombie, looks at their phone and computers for a majority of the time they're awake, and they're all sucked into the matrix. And the only way you can get away from it, and even me, right? I have a YouTube channel. I'm part of it. I'm still a small fry, but I have Starlink here. But I've separated the majority, probably around 85% of what the world does. I've stopped doing by selling everything in the U.S., separating myself as much as possible financially and physically from the ground zero that the U.S. will become, whether that ground zero be nuclear detonation or financial collapse or civil war or you name it. It will happen, one of those, or another false flag pandemic or whatever have you. But the riots and the absolute pandemonium of panic will happen, and it's very likely it could be this year of 2024. I mean, it's just I've been prepping for over 20 years, buying freeze-dried food, selling everything I got in the U.S. and coming to the Philippines, locating myself away from typhoons and earthquakes and volcanoes as much as I possibly can within the Philippines, making a compound here with 20-foot walls in the back and 8 to 10-foot walls, the remaining part of where I live. And we keep to ourselves here. We don't mingle, as being like a socialite because there's no bars here anyways. You can't go anywhere and go to a bar. It's rare. Some of these resorts have a bar, but from where I live, you got to drive a long ways. And there's no big gambling here. There's the lottery. That's only gambling here. And there is sports betting too. They have bookies here and you can sport bet if you're a gambler. But where I used to live in Las Vegas, all that stuff was in your face every single day. And that's people's entire lives is the internet and gambling, right? And you're just escaping from what really life means in this earth, which is get yourself married properly in the eyes of God, the way He intended, and have children for what the Bible says. Be fruitful and multiply. And be close to God's earth and give Him thanks for what He's given us. Be in a place where you can grow your own fruits and vegetables for the most part, and even your meat. Raise chickens and pigs and cows and all that. And in the deep jungle of the Philippines, you can do that by buying land, buy a hectare or two of land, and get yourself all that stuff and just be part of the land. Make your flocks grow, make your gardens grow, have your children, do whatever you can. That's the spice of life right there. Not all this crap that the Western world tells you to do by not getting married and being selfish and living a solemn and alone all your life in a selfish existence. That's not living life. That's not doing the commands that God gave us for this earth. He says, till the land and harvest the things that he's given us. And, have children, have a family. Yes, it's a big headache and a problem. But you know what? There's many, many wonderful times within all that also. But in order for the family to work anymore, you have to locate yourself in the Philippines or in a Muslim country where they do not allow divorce. In the Philippines, divorce is illegal, and some of the Muslim countries in the Middle East and around the world, divorce is illegal. And that's the only way that you have a chance to even make a future for yourself and to have a family and to make things work and not being destroyed by any whim that comes into the woman's mind that they can go out on their own and take at least half of what you've worked so hard to accumulate and build as a family in this earth. So that's why you can't do it anywhere unless you're in a country like the Philippines. Philippines is probably the only country left in the world, as far as I know, Christian country where divorce is illegal. And that's what it takes. It takes the state and the laws to make sure that these women that get filled with a demon or whatever you want to call it want to become selfish after they've already made the choice to get married and have children, right? Then they being enticed on the internet or other worldly friends or whatever to go on their own, because they know that in a marriage contract in every country except for the Philippines, that's a Christian country, that they can just abandon and take what the man has, at least 50% of it, right, buddy? And that's very bad, because you're never going to have a perfect marriage. Get that out of your mind right now. There's always going to be problems. Or a perfect relationship. It doesn't exist. It does not exist on this earth. But you both have to know that, your God, which our choice that we choose is Jesus Christ, and He is our rock. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how much arguments we get in, or what bad stuff is happening in the world, or what kind of problems that this world throws upon you, because this is a testing ground. You're going to have problems. You're probably going to have worse problems because you stand on the laws of God. There's my beautiful wife right there.
Hello, good morning.
And so, okay, yeah, he got tired, so I had to carry him.
That's what happened when we are in the groceries. I have to carry him, and then everything messed up to me. I cannot really think what I need to get.
So anyways, come on, buddy. Come on, we got a few more minutes to walk. And so, yeah, those are the struggles that God gave us on this testing ground called Earth. And you can't escape it. Even if you decide to learn or live a selfish, alone life, like Old Dog just has newest video talking about, about the being old and being alone, choosing to be alone without getting married, or, with all the problems that comes with having a woman, because it's many demands and many problems that come with a woman. But marriage in this country, they can't take you to the cleaners, right? They can't do it. They can abandon you, but if they abandon you in this country, they lose everything. And that's the way it should be. If you're abandoned by your wife, then she shouldn't be able to go to a lawyer and then they come to you and force you to give her half of everything so she can take off, and then force you to be separated from your children and all that crap that goes on in most of the world with divorce. That is completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable in the eyes of everyone. That should be completely unacceptable. And annulment here, annulment is you both have to sign. So if you get to a point where your faith is so low, where you abandoning the virtues of God's laws, and you want to be you both want to be selfish and abandon God, then yeah, if you both sign, you can have an annulment. But still, even in the Philippines, it takes 5 to 10 years for annulment. So you got to think about all this stuff, and that's the way it should be anyways. Marriage is supposed to be for life until death. That's what marriage is. If you don't want for life until death, then be alone. But that's kind of your choice. And you're going to miss out not only disobeying what God says that we should do on this earth, but you're going to miss out on all the happiness side of a wife and children. You're going to miss out on all that, right? So, and that makes you grow as a person, makes you grow and gives you more of the challenges that God can write in His book about how you handled a certain situation. Some situations and bad that are within every single person, you'll never solve it, no matter how close you become to Christ. You can probably make it better, but you're not going to ever solve all of your problems that you have. No, they're never going to happen. So that's why Christ died for us, because He knows that, sure, you can become Christ-like in some things and some degrees, but you'll never completely become perfect like Christ, right? So, and He knows that. That's why He sacrificed Himself, because He loves us so much, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. But don't run away from the problems of the world. Hit them head on. Hit them head on and fight the good fight. And endure long suffering of, let's say your wife nags you every single day. That's the long suffering that you must endure as the husband. And then the good that she gives you back, relish that good and nurture it. You know, like, oh, you look so beautiful today, my love. You know, why you look so beautiful today? You know, stuff like that a man can do to make a big smile on his wife or his fiancée to be or whatever, right? So it ain't easy. I'm not saying it's easy, because there's nothing easy in this world. If you're on an easy street of any kind, good luck, because the hard, bad stuff is building and building bigger, and it will hit you eventually. Because life ain't like easy street. It just ain't. You might have an easy stretch, but then you're going to come to the hard part. And the longer of an easy stretch you have, the harder the hard part when it comes is going to hit you. I guarantee that. I've lived long enough on this earth to testify to that. So, anyways, love you guys out there. And just the bottom line is, if you want to have a future for yourself and build a family, you can't do it in the world right now anywhere but the Philippines because of the laws. I'm not saying they can't change the laws in the Philippines, and there's all kinds of rumors that they are going to change the laws, but in order to change it, they'd have to change the Constitution of this country, because the Constitution clearly states there's a whole section of the Constitution is for the family and protecting the family, which includes no divorce. So until that time comes, this is your last hope on this earth, to have a happiness and build a family where it can never be destroyed. Like, your family could probably still be destroyed, but your spouse would have to abandon you, right? Abandon you. So just know that, and this is another big contention, that in the Constitution it says foreigners can't own land in the Philippines. Well, as single people, as a single entity foreigner, that's true. But intermarrying into the culture, that is the law in the Philippines. If you intermarry, then you can own land in joint with your spouse, right? That's why you can build your little empire, your castle, or your farm, or your business, whatever you want in the Philippines, once you're married and integrate into society here as a part of the people of the Philippines. And then if you have children together, which you should, in my opinion, it's all hollow. If you don't have children, your accomplishments, your money, everything is hollow. There's no real deep meaning and enjoyment in not having a child. Yeah, in my retired age, I'm 60 now, and I have a 3.5-year-old son. Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy, because it ain't, but the enjoyment I get from my little son is more enjoyment than I've ever had in my life. I have other children too, but they're grown and out on their own, right? And I enjoyed them just as much when they were a young child too. And the sweet spot for children is between the ages of like 2. I mean, it's tough to raise an infant, but once they get age 2 or something, and even as a super small infant, yeah, it's more care and more attention you have to give to them, but still wonderful. But the sweet spot that you can really never ignore or get away from, because it's so wonderful in a child, is age 2 to age 9. Then after that, they're gonna slip away from you as far as giving you the wonderful relationship, and that's the time you should really bond with them. The stronger and the more time that you bond with your child in the early days, the better the person they'll be when they grow up, and the better relationship they're going to have with you. And my mistake on that was I worked a job in the oil field all my life where I'm gone half the time. So I work 6 months away from my family and then come back for six months. But it's at 2-week intervals, so two weeks gone, 2 weeks back. I could spend a lot of quality time with my kids when I was home, but just all that time away, which is a little more than half because of the traveling, your bond with your children becomes diminished. And that's very, very, very important, that you're giving up if you have a job like that. That's why whatever you can do in the early days, because, right, I mean, every single day, I wake up in the morning with my child, and it's just a smile that they give you in the morning, and then a hug, and then walking around, doing things, taking rides together, whatever. It's always interaction between you and your children, which creates such a strong bond. And that's the way it used to be in the early days of the U.S. too, is that you lived on a farm, you had a farming existence where you're all together at all times. That's the ultimate. That is the absolute ultimate. But with industrialization and the man going off to work in the factory or going off to work in the city or whatever, and then even got worse than that after the woman was torn out of the home to pursue her worldly careers, and the children got left in the dust. They absolutely got left in the dust. And you know what they bonded to? They bonded to TV, or they bonded to video games, and they bonded to other lonely children that didn't have anything to do. So they got themselves in bad trouble of drugs and all this stuff, right? Which didn't exist in the early days when the parents were with their children all the time. Very rare, at least it was. So we've gotten so far away from God and God's intended definition of the family. And that's what this day and age, what has happened. So the only thing I can say to y'all is, if you want any kind of a chance for any of that righteous happiness, come to the Philippines and buy yourself some land and get married to a Filipina and have your last chance of a family. Because really, that's why we're here. We're not here to self-gratify us. I don't care if they say, I worked my whole life, I deserve my retirement by myself. Well, if you think that's the truth, then good luck with your happiness, because you can't do it like that. And if you think that is happiness, it ain't gonna happen. I mean, you have to have a purpose. So anyways, you're all gonna make your own decisions, and you should, right? It's free will that God gave us. So be kind, protect the innocent. That's a big one. Protect the innocent. So whatever your choice is in this earth, just always remember those values. So take care, y'all. Love you. Say goodbye, John. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good job, buddy. Okay, goodbye, y'all. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.